What have you accidentally conditioned your pet to do? If he hears me on the phone with my sister, it's automatically time for a walk. We usually chat when I take him out, and he is now very aware of that. Also, outside clothes and putting on makeup means I'm going out probably without him. If I take my backpack, I won't be back until after work. He's happy that hasn't happened in a while. Aw, I love this family time. Does he get confused if your sister visits in person? I also love the phrase outside clothes, your dog knows fashion. He's like, dang girl, it's that kinda day. Alright, let's go hunta. Sadly, she live on the other side of the country, but it seems to only happen when I say hi sis on the phone, sometimes when other people call, but usually only her. And oh yeah, I'm apparently such a homebody that he notices makeup and clean clothes. And God forbid I start packing a suitcase. I make sure to leave his travel bag next to mine so he knows when he's coming with. One time, my cat spotted a spider on my wall. Since he was staring so obviously, I was able to notice too. Grateful, I gave him treats and cuddles. He did it again a week later, same thing. Then one time he looks around frantically and I jump up to go check, but I don't see a spider. He looks at me expectantly. After a few times like this, I realized he learned that looking around intensely at stuff means treats, love and attention. It's now been 4 years and he will still look at me, then pointedly look around the apartment, then back at me, expecting a reward. Has it resulted in him spotting the occasional bug? Yes, especially since over the years I've learned the slight difference between his real expression and the fake I want treats one. Still, even if I know it's all a lie, it throws me off and sometimes I give in and look anyway. Maybe I'm imagining it, but he always looks so satisfied afterwards, the fluffy jerk. Edit, cat in question. This weird fluffball has also learned to topple the water container and to poke the trash to get my attention. If you try to spray him with water when he misbehaves, he will stand there pitifully and blink at the water so you feel bad and stop. He will sleep on your head at night and you might find scratches on your cheek or next to your eye, or he'll yell at the bedroom door if it's closed and try to turn the doorknob and or stick his paws under. He screams like a goat. On the bright side, he learned to sit for food because food is the only true goal in his life. I was really young, so I might get this a little wrong. I should double check with my mom, but it was actually kind of wild. I think she had some sort of schizophrenia. I assume we got her on some meds or something, but eventually, for some reason, she started escaping once a week or so, and she always ended up at our neighbor's house about 4 houses down the street. She seemed happy there, so after a while, we just let her stay and she never came back. I was sad to lose her, but it was nice knowing she was close by. Was always sort of weird on the rare occasions I went to their house and she was there, like running into an ex you're on good terms with. My dog likes to eat flies. When we first moved into this house, we had a huge fly problem. Turns out previous owner thought himself a builder and fucked with the sewage pipes. Not nice. We have a ceiling fan with a pull cord to turn it on and the flies love sitting on that. So we started lifting the dog so he could eat them off the cord. Yeah, so he's obsessed with the dangly cord now. If you stand under the fan, he'll jump at you until you lift him up and then he'll bite at the cord for a bit. I never gave my cats treats for spotting a spider, just pointed and tapped near it till she ate it. Eventually, whenever I spotted a spider, I'd just pick her up and plunk her in front of it as my designated spider killer. Just about shat myself once when right as she'd honed in on the new bathroom spider, I noticed a tiny red hourglass on its abdomen. And I lived in a desert, where they're actually poisonous. Never snatched up a cat so fast in my life. My one dog sleeps under a blanket. I know he pretty much only gets a decent sleep that way, so every time he's laying down I cover him with one. So whenever he wants to have a nap, or it's time to go to sleep at night, he jumps up onto the couch, or bed, or really wherever I am, and just sits there staring at me, until I grab a blanket and drape it over top of him, to which he then lays down and falls asleep. The funny part is that he'll often sit there in that position waiting for minutes on end. Sometimes he's not even facing me when he does it, which is the funniest. He'll get up on the bed, put his ass in my face, sit, and just wait. He knows he doesn't even feign loving me to get what he wants, he just knows it's going to happen, so why put up a facade? He's become very entitled about it. Whenever I bring my dogs in from a walk or from the backyard, I give them a treat, which I keep in the kitchen. So whenever we come in, they run to the kitchen and get in the sitting position. Sit is always the first command in a string of commands that I use when giving them treats. If I forget, they'll sit there for however long it takes for me to circle back around and give them a treat. Sometimes this takes 5 to 10 minutes if I'm distracted, but they'll just sit there waiting. They have trained me well. Not sure how it happened, but my dog will run to nearest window, stand on his hind legs and look outside frantically if I ask him who's here. This behavior also occurs when there is a knocking sound, whether it's on the TV or at the door IRL. If no one is there, he will whine. If it is someone he knows, he will get excited. If it's a stranger, he will growl. Best guard dog buddy. My cat drinks out of a glass on my nightstand rather than a bowl. A couple of years ago, she was having some pretty serious dental issues, all fixed now, and was being reluctant to eat and drink. She had always wanted to drink out of the water cup I had for myself, and at that point I just wanted her to drink anything, so I let her. That was my mistake, and now she refuses to drink out of a bowl on the ground, and will only drink out of cups. She has a permanent cup on my nightstand, to this day. Oh well, at least it's easier for me to monitor her water intake. My last dog, who was a damn genius. If the Emmerdale theme tune played, it was time for his medication. If we went into the kitchen, and he was hungry, he could very clearly show me what he wanted, stand next to the fridge if he wanted cheese/ham, the cupboard if he wanted a treat. Same with water. He'd stand near either the sink or his bowl until I looked at him and changed it. He was on medication that made him more thirsty than a normal dog, hence why he'd learned how to tell me when he was running low. My current dog, who is incredibly mischievous at the best of times. What's in your mouth? Runs into the garden immediately. My dog was born deaf. He's a double Merle Australian Shepherd, if anyone's curious, and he's taught himself a bunch of different cues like this. I don't think much of it now, and I kinda forget that not all dogs do these things. But it really is amazing how adaptable they are. He's so perceptive, he picks up on things we don't even notice and has a ton of accidental conditionings. When he was younger, he had attachment issues due to being a former abandoned stray. He'd always lean on our legs, or try and sit on our feet. We figured out he was doing this so that he'd know when we got up to leave. He knows all sorts of cues, mostly relating to locating where people are in the house. He uses minute body language, vibrations, shadows, and even mirrors to keep track of who's where. He always wants to know who's coming and who's going, and he usually knows someone is about to enter the room before we do. Most dogs have a good sense of time and schedules, and he's no exception. He knows when breakfast and dinner should be, and that if I come down wearing shoes, leggings, and a jacket, it's probably time for a walk. But he's also able to tell when someone is leaving for a short time versus an extended period of time, and somehow seems to know about when they'll be back, too. I accidentally trained him to jump up on the bed with me whenever we're alone in the room, because I always allow him up with a command in that situation, so now he just assumes he can do it, lol. He used to have this, sort of annoying, habit of sticking his nose under closed doors and loudly inhaling/exhaling repeatedly, but this is his way of figuring out who's behind the door using his sense of smell. When someone gets up to go to the bathroom and closes the door behind them, he'll face the door and just wait for them to come back. But right before they come out, he perks up again. How does he know? He can't hear the water running or footsteps or anything. My guess is it has to do with him feeling the vibrations of the water pipes, and or seeing the shadow from under the door move in a certain way. He can also receive commands through a mirror. If he sees me wave or do the good boy hand motion in the mirror, he knows he can turn around, and I'll be there doing the same hand motion, and he can get pets/happiness. It's all pretty amazing and interesting to me, especially considering most dogs don't understand or care about mirrors at all. He was also never that into the game of fetch. I think the idea of running away from his humans is just really unappealing to him. Instead, his favorite game is tug of war, lots of eye contact and fierce competition, followed closely by chase/herd the humans. And food puzzle. Now that he's older, his attachment issues have improved a lot. He's much more secure and mellowed out. When we go on walks, I've trained him to automatically sit and wait at crossing areas. He's gotten really good at this, but when I pat him to say, "Good boy, time to walk again," for some reason, he always takes off at speed. My best guess is that I've jogged across with him too many times to try and make the opening, so now that's what he always wants to do. That or just pure joy at continuing the walk. He also complains if I make him wait too long at the crossing due to passing cars, lol. One of my pups is on a few meds. He was resistant to taking them at first, so I got in the routine of saying, "Cowboy, want your Apoquel?" and then holding him between my legs, standing over him to give him the pills and rewarding him with a chewy. He now comes running when I say it and already knows to turn a circle and back it up to stand beneath me. But we have to be careful about accidentally saying Apoquel now, or he'll come running and be so disappointed. Always give him a snack anyway, BC. It's my fault for saying the word. I accidentally conditioned my cat to beg me to feed her if I so much as utter the word hungry. It started when she was a wee lass and I'd say, "Are you hungry?" at mealtime. Now she's all old and shit. When I mutter to myself, "Man, I'm hungry," she runs from one side of my house to the other begging for food. Even though she didn't finish her food from 30 seconds ago. I love her, but Christ. I made an oopsie. If I ever find a DeLorean, I'm gonna have words with me.